Howdy, buddy. Afril here. Today I want to talk about critical self-analysis. For those of you who have been following this so far, I died twice to Sif on the last episode. And so what I wanted to talk about with this one was... Here we go. How do you self-analyze in such a way that you can recover from that kind of a thing, right? I like to try and watch back the footage of the episodes that I've been doing. Oh, that's dumb. And it's kind of a habit that I developed back from when I was playing League of Legends a lot. Because what I've learned from that was the importance of watching back your play, and maybe not like watching it at one-time speed for the entire match every single time, but what is really helpful and really important is looking at the highlights, right? When you, in particular, what you should be doing as you're playing a game is you should be constantly creating an evaluation in your mind of what you're expecting to happen, and then evaluating that against what actually happens. So I'm expecting to be able to just charge into Sif and kill him in one shot, right? No big deal. But I go in there and I get my ass beat so badly that I die immediately on the first round without even getting a shot in. And then on the second round, I get one hit and then that's it. I die right away. Not the best. So I have to contend with the fact that I had some expectation, and then that expectation was not met. And so rather, like, one thing that you can do is you can just be in denial about it, right? You can say, oh, that didn't kill you? Oh, shoot. But yeah, so you have as Mill says, a prediction error. And how you contend with that is the important part, right? Because what you could do is you could just be in denial about it, and you could say, oh, especially in a team game like League of Legends, you could very easily try and assign the blame to a teammate, right? That's probably one of the things that League is most infamous for is, oh, it's my team dough. If I just had better teammates, if I just had people who didn't play like crap, then I could totally be one of the best in the world. And the reality is that that's just not the case. So you don't want to get into the mental trap of blaming things that are not relevant. And that could be not just like blaming teammates, right? That could also be you don't want to blame irrelevant factors, right? You might think that you lost because, let's say we're talking about StarCraft instead of League of Legends, right? It's a 1v1 game, but what can still happen is, let's say that you have an opponent who does a cheesy strategy, like a cannon rush with Protoss. What's really easy to do is attribute them beating you to that cheesy strategy, and not understanding that, one, that is part of the game, and that you have to be able to deal with and counter it, and that people at higher levels know how to counter it and in fact punish it because it's a suboptimal strategy. What I could have said with Sif, and it's not as applicable for a single player game, right? But what I could have said is, oh, this boss is bullshit. Like, there's no way anybody could beat this. Like, how are the developers expecting anybody to be able to win against a boss like this? But the reality is that loads and loads of players have beaten Sif, and I've beaten Sif before too. But I wasn't strategizing correctly. I wasn't going at it correctly. And so what I did was I watched back the footage, in part because I just like to make sure that the way that I'm sounding and the way I'm coming across is good, trying to catch some of my mental tics and making notes to, let's say, not have them quite so much. And so I realized what was going on. The sweeping attack that Sif does, it goes under your shield. Like, it's like an ankle biter attack. So in order to handle that, in order to deal with that, rather than trying to back away from the fight, you want to actually go into it, because then the sword will actually hit your shield instead of your ankles. So I analyzed the footage, right? I saw, okay, this is the right way of dealing with it. And so now I have to try and formulate a response, right? I have to formulate a different approach that is going to deal with whatever it was that killed me the first time in a way that will prevent me from, maybe not prevent me from dying, right? But at least prevent me from dying in the same way, in the same silly way. So what I did was I kind of formulated a plan of attack, right? I want to wear the Stone Giant armor because that is a massive boost in poise and damage reduction. So in order for me to use the Stone Giant armor, I need to be able to boost my equipment load. And in order for me to boost my equipment load, one of the ways you can do that is by leveling that up. But the way that's a little bit easier and more temporary, rather than having to spend a butt ton of souls in order to get there, is by coming up here, and in the basement of this tower is Havel. He wants to just smoosh you with his dragon tooth. So I'm going to run inside and not get hit, hopefully. Cool. Can I don't know if I want to try and parry him. I want to try and get a backstab. Nope. And that's why, because he hits very hard. Okay. Yep. That was a predictable outcome. I still do want to try and kill him at least one more time, though. And also, there are definitely ways of cheesing this, but I don't want it to be so unentertaining. Me at least trying and dying over and over again is kind of fun to watch, but me just, like, spamming arrows from a distance, it's not that fun. So if I'm probably going to die in this run a lot to the Capra Demon. There is a strategy for killing the Capra Demon where you sit in a particular spot and then you throw explosive grenades basically over the fog wall and kill him that way without ever having to enter the arena. And it is very effective as a cheese, especially with how annoying that particular boss can be. But it's also, like, it's kind of boring to watch. You kind of want to see the struggle. The whole point of something being impressive, of being able to fight a boss and kill it, even, like, yes, Dark Souls, especially for seasoned players, can be a bit trivial, especially once you've learned attack patterns and you know how to create and utilize the openings that are inherent in those attack patterns. But it's a lot more entertaining for people to watch if you don't cheese. I could use Pyromancy a little bit. Soften him up first. I might do that. Whew. Okay, so we're going to try and bait a swing from him. I probably could have gone up the stairs. Okay, and we're going to throw up Fireball and dodge. And he's almost immune to that because his armor is good against it. Okay, that's rude. Can I swing? Okay, I got the first hit, but it doesn't matter because his poise is too high. Okay, we're going to try this one more time, and I dropped a 12k bloodstain because I wasn't paying attention. Well, so what killed us the last two times with Havel? We tried to swing, and then because of his poise, he was able to counter swing and hit us even though we were attacking him. So the way that we want to try and approach this is we have to be very careful not to leave any openings for him, because if he is able to get off that second attack, he kills us in one hit because he's much, much stronger with his attacks than what we have for defense. Okay. Could you... Okay, why you gotta be weird like that? Okay, I don't think I actually get much from that, but whatever. So that swing, he has some level of... Okay, he should be low on stamina there. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I can't roll back because I used all my stamina. Okay. Well, we're going to try and find the wolf ring instead. Because maybe that'll help. Who knows? But yeah, it's... Dark Souls is very demanding in the fact that you can't just face roll. You have to be deliberate about how you're approaching things. Although it's not so punishing. Like, once you get that pattern down, it's not that bad. Especially once you realize, for the first couple of levels, oh, I can just block, and then I can wait for them to attack, and then after they swing into my attack, then I attack back. Right? And you can move around, and like kind of what I'm trying to do with Havel. Incorporate that. Here we go. There we go. Much better. Alright. We don't really need the Hornet Ring, but Blue Tear Stone's kind of garbage anyway, so we'll just take that off. Yeah. And see, now, that would have staggered me before, and that's... Okay, so there's an example, right? In my brain, I was actually expecting to be staggered by that attack, because in all the previous instances where I've been hit by that attack, it staggered me. But now it doesn't, because I boosted my poise with the Wolf Ring, so now I can just tank it, and my attacks will continue to swing, and I won't get staggered. Which is a very, very useful stat to have. And we're going to go and we're going to try and fight Havel one more time, because I would really like to get him. And so what I'm going to try and do differently this time, rather than trying to fight him head on, and I'm backstabbing, I don't know, I know I have gotten backstabs on him before, but I feel like that's been with a lighter equipment load, and because I'm just a little bit heavier. If you don't get hit, you don't need poise. Yes, Noah, however, I'm not good enough to not get hit, and especially playing with the Black Knight Greatsword, I don't have, like, my equipment load's a little bit too high, and so I don't have the, like, I'm not quite fat rolling, but I'm not fast rolling. So without that benefit, it's going to be really difficult. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and parry him, and I'm probably going to die again because I am not good enough for that. Oh gosh. Okay, he's going to do that. And I parried way early, and I died in one hit. Okay. Fuck it, we're going to go try and kill Sif. So, in no particular order sort of a way, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and it's really helpful in gaming when you're trying to deal with bosses, is the idea of tells, and how to try and find them and learn them and then exploit them. So, when you are playing a game like Dark Souls, oftentimes, and really any fighting game as well. So this time, instead of trying to back away from Sif, we're going to try and run into him. That's going to be the main way that we change our playstyle here. Hi, Puppo. Okay. And then we're not going to swing twice, because if we swing twice, then we have no stamina left. And that means that if we have no stamina left, then our block doesn't block. Okay. So one swing at a time. Immediately go in for shielding, and I swung with one arm. That was a terrible mistake. Don't die. Okay. Oh, geez. Okay, so I do need to be mindful of that. Okay. So, something to be mindful of. That attack apparently doesn't care. It's not just a leg sweeper. Right? It's not. It didn't just sweep my legs. The thing that killed me with that was it's just a stronger attack that punches right through. Um, okay, I think that it's all physical damage. So what I might do is I might run and try and grab a heater shield and then come back and do it again. So one of the other... okay, so here's another gaming thing for the non-gamers in the audience. There's something called invincibility frames. Okay, that's just rude. There's something in games called invincibility frames. So the idea is if you are dodging, the game wants to make it so that you don't get hit if you were intending to dodge, but you only... it doesn't want to like make it so that you can just never get hit. So what it does is it gives you a certain grace period of time where it allows you to not get hit by any attacks. And one of the things about these guys when they first pop out of the ground is they are invincible for however long. While they're still in the ground, they're not. So if you hit them while they're still down, then that's fine. But as they're popping out, and that's kind of the same mechanic for whenever you're rolling. So like if I roll here, right? There's a few frames of that towards the beginning where my character is invincible. He can't be hit, and so it's a really effective way of dodging. So like with Sif's swings, if I had a lighter build, then I would be able to just roll and dodge, and it wouldn't be a problem. And I'm not going to save here, because I want to be able to use a homeward bone to get back to the other bonfire. One of the other things that I wanted to touch on was not to get down on yourself too much. This is something that I struggle with a lot, because when you start trying to take a sort of radical responsibility about these sorts of things, it can be very, very discouraging, because even if you can't figure out quite what the problem is, you know that in some way it's your fault, that there's something that you could be doing differently that would... and so like I know that I could not get hit by those things. I know that if I really took the time and got good at it, then there's a lot of things that... well, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way of thinking of it. But you don't want to... you don't want to get down on yourself so much to the point where you not just stop trying, but like you have to understand that you have no way of knowing the things that you don't know yet. That you can't put that kind of an unreasonable expectation onto yourself. That you have to... oh, are you... oh, goodness. And I respawn back there, don't I? Yep. Maybe I should have stayed at a bonfire so I didn't have to rewalk that whole thing. Is there? That's what I get for not... for trying to do too much at once. Not respecting my own limits. So, the important thing... you don't... so, one of the sayings that I've picked up is that a great chess player... it's not that a great chess player never makes mistakes, it's that they never make the same mistake twice. You don't want to... if I get killed by something, I want to be paying attention to how that thing killed me, and I want to develop strategies for how I'm going to avoid not just that same death in the future, but that same kind of death. Because there's loads of different particular ways and places that I could be killed by skeletons, by undead, by whatever. But there's a sort of class of deaths right? I died because I swung when I shouldn't have and it left me open. I tried to parry and my parry mistimed and I hadn't drank the Estus that I had in my pocket because I just wanted to brute force my way through it. So you want to identify those things. You want to make sure that you're saying, okay, I'm going to push it. I'm going to try and do it one more time. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to get through it. And it's a lot faster to get back all that way with a homeward bone. So the last main topic that I have in my outline is... So coaching is a really useful thing. Having someone teach you who knows more about the game, and so they're able to help you identify issues with your play and issues with the way that you're thinking about the game in a much more faster and compact way than you would be able to if you did it on your own. And so it's really important to take full advantage of that, but part of taking full advantage of that is recognizing that you don't want to waste the coach's time. You don't want to be having them tell you the same things over and over and over again, that you should be working on doing the development improvement on your own. Because there's a lot of stupid deaths that I'm doing right now, where I conceivably could. Oh, is this a... no, I don't want to go this way. Yeah, wax on, wax off, and it absolutely is run. That's a big thing of what I'm trying to do with these, and about trying to talk about games, is that there's a broader applicability. You can learn things from the games themselves, right? And so part of this is to try and explain to people who are not as inclined to play games why I see them as so valuable and what can be gleaned from them. And then part of them is to help the Zoomers and whatnot to not just face roll and to not just... to actually think as they're playing through the game. Because there's so much that could be learned that's just not emphasized by a lot of folks. But yeah, they're trying to make the best use of the time that's being spent playing games, because it's not... they are a lot of fun and they're very intensely meaningful and engaging, but the reason that they're intensely meaningful and engaging is because of the depth that's present in them. And it's a shame if we're not taking advantage of that depth, if we're not actually trying to learn the lessons that are readily available if you just are willing to take the time and effort to learn them. So we have the heater shield. We changed one more thing. We have more poise from the wolf ring. So let's see if we can kill Sif this time. So we're going to try and get right up under him because... Okay. Oh gosh. So it does block a lot of the damage. That's good. Okay, I'm going to chug one more time. Back to full health. Okay, that's really frustrating. Okay. It might have killed me. Nope, we're good. Okay. So trying to choose when to push in versus when to back off. Okay, I can get a swing off on that. Not quite, but that's okay. Got it off with the second one. Got that. Okay. Alright. He's gonna... Okay. Should be able to get a hit off here. Okay. And that's going to hit me, but that's going to... I still have one Estus charge. Okay. If he does that again, I die. So I have to be a little bit mindful. I should be able to get... Okay, I backed off in time for that. Are you going to spin attack? No, you're not going to... Okay. You're going to fling. Okay. Okay. And I blocked, so we're good. Okay. Come on. Oh god. Ah! I almost got him. So when you do enough damage to Sif, he starts limping, and it makes the fight a lot easier. I just didn't quite get there. I think we're going to try one more time, because that was actually pretty close. Hopefully I can get it this time. The heater shield definitely helps. No, I definitely get that, Ron. I don't know. There is a certain charm to listening to somebody else play and talk about video games, especially like a big part of the inspiration that I'm taking with this. They're channels that probably no one's ever even heard of, but I have watched hours and hours of their content. There's a guy on YouTube called Rodamont who did... he does a lot of like colony simulator stuff, which I know most people are not as into, but that's one of my favorite game genres. And so him playing RimWorld, him playing Kenshi, and him talking through, and both like talking through mechanically, and then also creating a story around the things that he was doing and the stuff that he was encountering was always really, really fascinating to me, and I really enjoyed listening to it. And I know that for most people, it's like, why would you bother listening to that? Like, this is a super, super boring playthrough. But I don't know. There's just something in like very detail-oriented thinking. Okay, I can get a hit. Okay, I am gonna focus up, lest I die again. Okay, can I get a hit? I can get a hit. Cool. Effect shield. Okay. Can I get a hit? Okay, well, it would help if I swung. Swing, swing, okay. Got a hit. Shield. Get under him. Okay, so what I'm noticing right now is if I'm standing in front of him, he's trying to back away into the wall, so if I can just keep him here, then that means that he has a lot more limited of an attack pattern, and I totally ate that. Okay, cool. Chug. Can I get another chug off before he swings? No, but he... Okay, cool. Okay. Swing. He's gonna swing again. I'm underneath of him, so it's not gonna hit me. Can I get another swing off? No, but it's okay. Oh gosh. I wasn't blocking. I was trying to switch to shield, so that because I was only blocking with my sword, and it didn't quite work. Okay, one more time. One more time, we got this. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who thought it was weird, Cassandra, that people would think it was weird to watch other people play video games, but I don't know, like, that was never weird to me, because I always enjoyed, like, even from a very young age, watching friends play video games. Especially if, like, watching somebody who is really good at playing video games is so satisfying in a way that I don't fully understand why. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to try and pin him in again, but I'm just going to try and, I don't know. We're just going to wing it. Okay, so that attack I don't have to worry about. I haven't really been looking. Okay, and I got hit by the spin. Can I get under you? Okay, I'm going to chug. I'm going to shield. Oh gosh. Can I? Okay. And I got killed again. Alright, I am gonna... I don't know. I want to give it a couple more tries. Because I feel like I got really close the one time. I feel like I can do it. It's just a matter of like getting that last 5 feet. Actually, you know what? Oh gosh. That was... I don't know why I stopped right as he was casting. I'm going to go try to give Havel one more shot. Because if I can get his ring, and I can wear the Stone Giant armor, I feel like that's going to be a lot better on the defense side. And even if I'm slower, as long as I'm continuing to walk into Sif, that'll end up working out better. Here goes nothing. In a very literal sense of the word, here goes nothing. I think I talked about it a little bit before, but I'll talk about it a bit more. Being able to actually improve requires a pretty high degree of self-honesty. You can't really get better at things if you are engaging in self-deception. You really have to be willing to own up on your BS and say, yep, I died because I swung when I shouldn't have. And it requires you to kind of take stock and not... like, you can't blame the game, you can't blame the controller, you can't blame your teammates in a multiplayer game. And even in a multiplayer game, right, it's the analogy that another streamer that I've watched quite a bit, Nice, uses, is that it's like playing with a hand of poker. Right? You don't get mad at the deck of cards because you got a bad hand. You have to learn how to develop strategies that take the randomness into account and allows you to mitigate the risk when it is going against you and take advantage when you have the advantage, and optimize the sort of balance between those things. And that's not easy to do. It's really, really difficult to kind of separate yourself out from the equation in the sense of what parts of what parts of what's going wrong are because of me versus other things. And then once you've done that, how do I then adjust? And if we die again, I'll probably cut it, because we're at about an hour anyway, and I have not made much progress. But how do I isolate the parts of the thing that are my fault versus not my fault? Okay, we're going to try and parry you. Oh my gosh. I almost one-hit KO'd him. Can I... Oh, baby, a triple. And by the way, that's why you play video games. That right there. Because, yes, I have been fighting and dying over and over and over again, but when you finally figure out what it is that you need to do and you make it work, it is so incredibly satisfying. I finally figured out, okay, I just need to parry him, and then I hit him with a riposte, with a two-handed riposte, and I do a ton of damage, and then on the stand-up animation, I'm able to get that last hit in, and he's dead. And now I have the Havel ring, which means I can now fast roll with this, and I'm kind of curious what my equipment load looks like if I put on the stone armor. So let's just do that. I'm going to have to take it off as I'm running to Sif, but I want to see. Okay, so fat rolling, but I can actually move around now, right? And my defense is going to be a lot higher as a consequence, so we're just going to be naked for a little bit. Actually, that's probably another good thing to touch on, huh? So sometimes, and I kind of touched on it with how this game encourages a certain pathway as far as what is easier to kill and what gives more souls. But sometimes the right answer is that you're not supposed to be where you are when you're there. That you don't necessarily want to go and start trying to fight Havel with very, very beginner gear. You want to do at least like a little bit of upgrades, because so one of the sort of metrics that you're looking at is how many times do I have to hit them without being hit. And so if it's a really, really high number, then that means that I have to be on my game the entire time, never getting even touched, never even getting scratched, right? And then constantly barraging them. And that's sort of, it's a very Japanese style of game. Things like Mega Man, or, I'm trying to think of another good example. But the idea being that you're trying to completely avoid being hit. I totally could have taken a Homeward Bone back, whatever. Whereas with this, and the term that I've heard used with this is called jousting. And so what you're doing, we can both what's called have lethal on each other. So like, if I get my combo off, I kill you. If you get your combo off, you kill me. But the timing is what's important. If my damage connects before your damage connects, then I win the joust. In the same way that two knights who are running at each other with a spear, or with each having a spear, the one that has the longer reach is the one that wins. So the one that touches, if I touch you before you can touch me, then I win. If you touch me before I touch you, then you win. So it's less about, especially in Dark Souls, it's less about who has the damage capacity. It's much, much more about can I dodge, first of all? And assuming that I can dodge effectively, then it kind of becomes a bit more moot. But if I do have to take damage in order to deal damage, who gets the shot off first? Speaking of getting shots off, let's go ahead and put all this back on. And I don't know if this is going to be more effective, but it'll at least give me a little bit more of an opportunity to not get completely creamed. So we'll see if it works better or not. Okay. So I broke a rule there. I don't know if anybody saw that, but I swung twice instead of only swinging once because I got lazy. Let's be honest. Oh gosh. Okay, but it didn't knock me down. Okay, and I can get under him for that spin attack so I don't take as much damage. Okay, I just want to stay underneath of you because I want you to do another attack that... Okay, and I can back off on that one. Okay, come at me. Okay, and you jump away. I can swing... Oh, okay, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. One swing, switch back to shield, block. Okay. Back up. He does a spin attack. I kind of want to bait him out a little bit because he's like up in the walls. And if you notice, so that's right there. I got hit by that when I was trying to do it before because, okay, don't die. Okay. Because I wasn't able to move as quickly. Now that I have the boosted equipment load from Havel's Ring, okay, that still hits, but it doesn't hit quite as hard. If I get hit by closer to the hilt, that's what doesn't hurt. Okay, good to know. Okay, and the overhead swing doesn't really hit, but I just don't want to get hit by the middle part. I want to wait for him to swing first before I swing again. Maybe I can just cheese that. Nope. Okay, back to shield, block. Okay. Can I swing? Didn't go through quickly enough. Don't roll in heavy armor. You know better. Okay, he's going to charge and swing. I can block and then immediately run in, and he dumps back, so I can't hit him. He's going to swing once, swing twice. I can swing. Okay, I got really lucky there. Okay. Okay. Okay, I can swing off of that. I really want to drink. Okay, I can drink off of that because he has end lag. Okay, he's going to jump away. He's going to charge. And when he... Okay, that hit me because... I think because I wasn't targeted on him. Okay, he can spin attack from that range. He's going to jump back. He's going to charge. He's going to back up. I want you to swing before I swing at you. That was stupid. I knew he was going to jump again. Okay, let me drink one more time just to get to full health. That was a stupid roll, especially because, okay. I want you to swing. Okay, I need to be moving in, not moving away. Because if I move away, then I don't get the opportunity to hit him after he swings. I can block that, and then I can get a hit in. There we go. Should almost be at limp threshold. He spins. Okay, I'm going to walk back in off of that. He's going to jump away. Swing. Swing. And then he... Okay. And I got him. Okay. And he's still not limping. What the frack? And he spins. Okay, I'm going to move in off of that. And he's going to... Oh, God. That's going to hurt. Okay, if I get hit again, I am dead. If I think I just need to get one hit off on him, though. Come on. Okay, he is limping a little bit, but not... It's not as significant as I would have thought. Can I get him? Ah! Come on. Oh my gosh. Okay, now he's limping. I'm sorry, doggo. Okay, that still hits really hard, even though he's like not even swinging that hard. That's kind of annoying. Are you kidding me? Oh! Okay, I'm not leaving on that note. I refuse to stop with that as the ending note of the stream. I'm going back in there. We are going to kill him. It's happening. So we're going to go. We're going to put the stone armor on. I was pretty good about my discipline. I didn't swing one-handed at all during that fight. I was pretty... I think only at the very beginning I did a double swing. So I have to be mindful not to do that. Single swings only because he hits really hard. The biggest issue is the spacing. I need to space myself appropriately so that he's either charging in or that he's like right on top of me. I can't be like he does the spin attack when I'm at like a medium distance. So I have to either be like I have to like wait out and then rush in and then stay directly under him. I think that's the trick here. Okay. You're not missing too much, Slack. I have been, well, you can go back and see for yourself. We'll put it that way. All right. Comes in. He's going to swing again. He's going to chomp down. Okay. I can get a hit off there. Go back to shield. He spins, but I'm right on top of him. He jumps away again. Jumps to the side. Okay, he comes in. He's going to spin attack. Okay, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to come back in. He jumps away. Okay, he comes in, he swings. He's going to stomp. Okay. I can get a hit in. Go back to shield. Back up. Swings once. I can come in off of that. Block that. And he stomps. Okay. I can hit. Go back to shield. And, okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, I barely managed to not get hit by that. He's going to... Okay. And he comes in, and then he's going to stomp. And he hit me right with his jaws. Okay, I learned something from that, though, right? Because previously, he would do the swing, like, stomp swing. And he was missing that consistently. He wasn't hitting me with that. I didn't realize that could do damage in that way. And it apparently only really does damage if it hits with the hilt. That's the key takeaway there. Alright. We can do this. Stay positive. With superior tactics. Alright. He's going to spin, and it's going to hit me, and there's nothing I can do about it at that point. Oh, come on! Ugh! You see, that's just rude. So the main thing... Okay, and this maybe... I don't know. I'm going to try one more time. If I don't get it this time, then I am going to call it. I don't know how to deal with that rotational swing. Especially not when I first run into the arena. Okay, how do I deal with the his spin swing? I don't actually know. Like, I need to back off, but I can't back off if I'm going in... I don't know. Maybe I do switch to a different... Like, I don't know. Because if I do a lighter armor, then I'm potentially opening myself up to more damage, but I can also roll more consistently. I feel like that was kind of an anomaly. I should be able to beat him without relying on it, but you know what? We're just gonna go for it. And if we don't get it this time, then it'll be saved for next time. Okay. He comes in and swings. He stomps. I can get a hit off that. He's going to jump away. Come in and he spins. Okay. I can run in. He swings. He swings again. Okay. I probably shouldn't have done that because he could have... Okay. I can move in off of that. Is he going to stomp? Yes, and I'm going to dodge out of the way, and then he's going to back away before I can get in on him. Okay, I'm just going to back into the middle of the arena so that we stop having these issues with the walls. I probably could have gone in on that. He swings. Okay. So it can do some pretty significant damage. 1, 2, I'm just going to go ahead and drink. 1, 2, I block that hit, and then he stomps, but I can get in and then hit him. Okay, and he jumps away again. I'm trying to... Okay, swings, swings, and he doesn't stomp. Okay. I want to wait for the stomp before I really go on him. He stomps, okay. I get the hit, cool. Back to shield. And I just barely have enough stamina to not get completely wrecked there. Okay. He swings. He swings again. He stomps, and I can get a hit. Got him. Back to shield. Swings and jumps away. Oh gosh. That was potentially really bad. For some reason, him running away took the targeting off. Okay. He stomps. Get the hit. And I'm under his guard so he doesn't hit me when he jumps away. 1, 2. Swings and stomps. Swing. Hit. Switch back to shield. Oh gosh, I almost moved back into that. He's going to spin again. Okay. Can I... I'm trying not to let him get me with the spin. The spacing... Okay, space back. Stop spinning. Stop spinning! There we go. Dodge out of the way. Can I get a hit? Nope, he jumps away first. He spins. Okay, I'm going to try and back up a little bit. And okay, he swings once, swings twice. He's going to do over smash, maybe? No, he's going to back away, and then he's going to spin again like a turd. Nope. Okay. But he doesn't do a smash. Okay. One swing, two swings, stomp. So that might actually be more proximity triggered. One, two, swing. Okay. Go back to block. One. Okay. One swing. Jumps away. Okay, he is moving a little slower now. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Do something that makes it so that I can safely approach. Because he's going to spin and attack. Okay. I'm sorry, doggo. You were a good boy. The goodest of the boys. Alrighty. Whew. And I was not even paying attention. Did that give me the Crest of Artorias? It did. The Covenant of Artorias. Whoo-wee! And 40,000 souls. That is a lot. It's not a dumb question, Cassandra. You can't jump over them because the only jumps that you have in Dark Souls are when you have a running start. So like if I am sprinting and then I do that, that's a jump. Otherwise, you can't really jump. You have iframes when you do rolls, especially like the fast roll like this. There's a bunch of invincibility frames towards the beginning of the animation, but I could do that instead versus Sif, but what am I doing? Give the dog a bone. And I'm not 100% sure what I want to use the souls for just yet, so I'm not gonna worry about that on this part. We are gonna put our clothes back on though. Being naked's just weird looking. But yeah. I'm glad that I stuck with it, because that was good. It took a little bit longer, but we got through. We killed Havel. We killed Sif. I'd call that a successful day, or a successful play. Alright, and with that, goodbye then. Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow.